And now, a Smoky Mountain Faith Food and Fun history lesson. Come along with Christy and I to a journey back in time. A time when things were much more simple, but not yet settled. That's right, we're talking about the Knoxville area and the Ramsey House, the historic Ramsey House. Christy and I are attending Tipper and Matt Presley's book signing from Celebrating Appalachia, one of our favorite YouTube channels. So come along and join us for some more great history. Welcome to the finest house in Tennessee, the historic Ramsey House at Swan Pond in Knoxville. Built in 1797 of locally sourced pink marble and blue limestone for Colonel Francis Ramsey and his wife Margaret, the couple had 9 children with only 3 that survived to adulthood. Francis acquired the land known as Swan Pond for the Ramsey House in 1786 with over 100 acres of hunting and farmland that was once Cherokee hunting grounds. Francis, the founder and patriarch of the family, was one of the original settlers of Knoxville, and in 1794 became the founding trustee of what became the University of Tennessee. Go Vols! Next came his son, Dr. J.G.M. Ramsey, who wrote the Annals of Tennessee and founded the East Tennessee Historical Society. J.G.M. was a physician who was later exiled from Knoxville during the Civil War. William B.A. Ramsey came next and was the first popularly elected mayor of Knoxville. He also published the paper, the Knoxville Register, and served as Tennessee's Secretary of State. He was also a known abolitionist. The house was built by architect Thomas Hope, Knoxville's first builder, and it was later placed on the National Register of Historic Places on December 23, 1969.
Let's head inside the historic Ramsey House, where our tour is going to begin inside the dog trot style kitchen that is furnished just like it would have been back in that period in the 1700s. It's got a large floor-to-ceiling fireplace, original beams that are actually still burned from being cooked in all of those years ago. Heading up into the main house, we've got the dining room. This is a table reminiscent of what they would have had and extended out for larger parties. They did own real china from China, and some of these pieces are original, handcrafted by Thomas Hope, the architect, builder, and craftsman. Heading across the hall to the formal parlor, what we see in front of us is actually a set of Chippendale chairs given to Francis Alexander and his wife Peggy on their wedding day. And this beautiful pianoforte was owned by J.G.M. Ramsey and his family when they lived here. Formal parlors were always a family space that had many functions. As you can see by this beautiful writer's desk, there is a tribute to the Annals of Tennessee, a wonderful piece of history written by J.G.M. Ramsey. The center hall design of this home has the entryway as well as the stairs that head up to the second level. This is what was considered the children's bedroom. It's furnished very much like it would have been back in the 1700s, and they even slept the children long way across the bed to fit more. This is the main bedroom of the Ramsey house. This is where the adult parents would have slept, along with maybe a little baby. Some of the items in this room are thought to be original, including this adorable pair of baby shoes that you see on this chair. They don't know which Ramsey they belong to, but they do know they're original to the family. And the little dollies you see in the cradle are considered a luxury doll. They're wooden heads. They're called a penny doll. And this bed right here was also for special guests. We were so excited to find out that the Ramsey House was going to be hosting one of our favorite YouTube channels, celebrating Appalachia. Tipper, Matt, and her family have such a great, wholesome channel, and she was going to be at the Ramsey House talking about her cookbook, which she wrote with Jim Cassida, about Appalachian foodways and recipes, and we even had the opportunity to ask a question. Have you always, like from a child and a young person, been interested in preserving Appalachia and the heritage, or is that something that just kind of grew as you got older?
Great question. I was always someone, even as a little girl, that liked old stuff. Like my mama, Granny, she likes old stuff. And I think I got that from her. Like I was always more interested in the antique kind of stuff than the new stuff. I would rather have had the old stuff, you know, even as a young girl. So I liked that. So I kind of had that natural affinity. And then my daddy, Pap, he really raised me and Paul and Steve. It's another Appalachian usage, to be proud. Now, most people might think that means, well, to think I'm better than somebody else. That's not what it means at all. It just meant to be pleased, to just be pleased with our lot in life. And so he really, you know, made us pay attention to things. So there was that influence. And but then it was really when I was in college. Me and Matt was first married, right before we got married, and then I guess right after we were newlyweds, the first time around at Tri-County. And I needed an elective, and it was just the advisor that suggested it. I would have never took it. There was like all that was left that semester was, I think back then it may have been quarters instead of semesters, but it was an Appalachian Studies class. And I said, okay, you know, whatever. And I was just doing it to mark it off my transcript, you know. But then I had the class with Mr. Cade, and he actually lives over the ridge from us in Pinhook. And he wasn't a native to our area, but he'd been there a long time, and he's still there, still lives over the ridge in Pinhook. But he just really, I just couldn't believe it. He was a great teacher, very interested and funny and all that. But I was like, I just found myself every day thinking, people don't talk like this. It's like it just never occurred to me, you know, really. People don't say these things, you know, like you do Appalachian vocabulary test. And that's where I, you know, had my ideal to do that to begin with on the blog. And I'm just, you know, most of them I would all know. I wouldn't need to study, I would know it. But he really made me start thinking about it and thinking about how wonderful, good things there was about the culture, the family, you know, the tight family, knit family, tight community, self-sufficiency, you know, you just go through all the different things. So that really, I think, planted a seed with Mr. K. And then, you know, as I've said, with the blog and all that.
Snowballed.
It just evolved. And then in 2020, when all of our lives went crazy, I was really fortunate. I got to work from home. Folks go let me pack up my computer and go home. And kind of coinciding with that, Matt and I decided we were going to get out of debt. And when we did, the first thing we did, of course, was get rid of our satellite TV. And then we started watching stuff on YouTube because we, you know, wasn't doing that. And during that time, when we were all together more and wasn't going places, we began to realize, like, well, how are these people, you know, whether it was other YouTubers, how are they doing this every day? How do they not work? And then we found, oh, you can make money from YouTube. So that's kind of, Matt and I talked about it, and we didn't want to mess up the Blind Pig and Acorn channel, but then that's where the thought was like, well, what if we take the blog and we just make it into a video, and we just do a whole separate channel? And even way back in 2008, if you go to my website, which is it's evolved since then to a different platform, but it's still the same text, that was my endeavor, was to celebrate, you know, the wonderful culture of Appalachia and the heritage.
The kind folks at the Ramsey House had some Appalachian foods inspired by Tipper's cookbook, like cornbread, beans, and cobblers, and Tipper took the time to sign the cookbook, and we took a photo and had a nice chat.
Hi, I'm Tipper Presley. This is Matt Presley. We have the YouTube channel Celebrating Appalachia, where we talk about all things Appalachian, thinking about folklore and, of course, the wonderful food we eat, music, gardening, making a garden. We make a garden every year, and all kinds of things. And also we showcase family life, so the closeness of our family, which is, again, another real Appalachian thing. So we hope that you'll come and visit us, and we appreciate you supporting our friends Brooks and Christy.
Christy and I wanted to thank the Ramsey House and Tipper and Matt from Celebrating Appalachia for this wonderful event. Thank you so much for everything. It was wonderful. We had a great time. And of course, touring the house was magnificent. If you ever get the chance and you're in Knoxville, definitely go by and check out the Historic Ramsey House. It is one of the finest houses in Tennessee. And another question on everybody's mind is, are these my people? Well, they all descended from Scotland, and they do have the Ramsey family tartan, so we're all in the clan. We're just working to find that bloodline. For now, Christy and Brooks, we love you, God bless you, and we can't wait to show you what's next.